What's up, everybody? It's ZTV here, and today we are talking about real life versus simulator. A lot of you getting into 3D and generally flying drones in general, the biggest tip I have is to start out with the simulator. When I started flying 3D, I did not go out there with a drone and immediately start flying. No, I started with a simulator. But back in 2015, there were no simulators for 3D. I had to fly real flight with a line-of-sight helicopter to get used to those positive negative transitions to get me ready to fly a real-life drone in 3D. But we're not living in the past. Oh no, we're living in 2020, and today I've got something really special planned. We have a brand new simulator called Acro. It is just coming out now on Steam. I got a pre-release version, and I'm super stoked for it because it defaults to 3D mode. That's right, most simulators don't even have 3D mode, but this one is out of the gate 3D. And it's probably the most hyper-realistic looking simulator on the market. It's made by a one-man team out of Brazil, Walter. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I even asked him how to pronounce it. I'm just going to insert that here. But it was really cool. He's a fan of me, he knows 3D, he really loves what I've been doing. So he sent me his pre-release simulator to try out, and for the first time, my reactions were gonna get me flying it. Then we're gonna compare real flying to simulator flying, and we'll get your guys' thoughts on what you think between the differences in the footage and how you think they compare. So without further ado, let's go over to the computer, open up the simulator, and get to flying. Okay, so we are at my handy dandy workbench. I've got my handy dandy analog transmitter. You may have seen this in my older videos. This is pretty much the only thing I use for simulator anymore because I use all DJI stuff. But when I fly sim, this is what I'm using. As you see, it's got that crossfire just to look cool because I don't even fly with a crossfire anymore. And we're gonna get into the Acro simulator. I'm pretty excited for this one. It uses the Unreal Engine 4.2, which is a very modern engine, very high detailed. To my knowledge, there aren't any other sims that use the Unreal Engine. And it uses PhysX, and PhysX is basically a physics platform that aims to have the most realistic physics interactions of any physics platforms on the PC, which is pretty cool. So I'm really stoked. I know it's gonna look good. I haven't even played it yet. I've seen videos of it. I've been following the development for a while. But yeah, let's get into it, give you my first impressions, and then maybe get into a little bit of an edit to show you the differences between the two. Cool, let's open up Steam. As you see, this is the main page. I'm gonna be giving away 4 keys to Acro, so if you want to get this simulator, leave a comment down below. I'll be picking 4 lucky winners to be a part of this giveaway. And immediately it opens up to the screen. Now you have your controller input, output. Immediately the biggest thing I notice is that my controller is not mapped correctly. So the way you remap it is you click that and just click the access. So we're going through roll, we're gonna hit roll on the transmitter. Gotta do pitch, yaw, yaw. And just like that, we've remapped the entire transmitter. Although it looks like throttle is inverted. Everything else, pitch, I think also needs to be inverted. There we go, yaw is good. So that's it for controller setup. Again, this is on the front page of the setup. Opens up to this immediately. We're gonna hit save and return. Again, oh, whoa, I started upside down. Oh, geez, immediately, there's no loading screen. Wow, guys, check out this sexiness. Whoa, whoa. I think I have a little bit of a tilt on this, but immediately it goes into 3D mode. Wow, this is really pretty, guys. Look at that water reflection. Wow. So this is based off of a location in Brazil. It's obviously, I would say it's a little hyper real. Like, you know, it looks real, but also doesn't look real simultaneously. Like, I feel like it feels like a little bit too snappy. It doesn't have the same kind of crisp / loose feel as a traditional roll. But it doesn't really feel floaty either. You got waves going on. I don't know if there's damage to the drone or not. Oh, yes there is damage. I just crashed. I killed my ESC and I lost some props. That's pretty legit. I feel like I want to change the settings on this. It doesn't feel quite like my regular setup. Like, this whole area is just like, just look at this! This is like next to Grand Theft Auto as far as like realistic looking drone simulator goes. Okay, let me see if I can change some settings. Immediately, it just goes right into the menu. So I heard thrust to weight, I'm gonna probably want it on 1. 6 makes it a little bit aggressive. I'm gonna probably increase the weight of the drone a little bit. Bidirectional motors is already on by default. HUD data, camera angle, we're gonna decrease the camera angle. We're just gonna change a few of the settings to make it feel, hopefully, a little bit more like my traditional. You can't go below 15 camera angle. Small PP.
Small PP price. Well done. Next.
I'm really disappointed I can't go below 15-degree camera angle. You got the 3D mode out there, but why would you make it stop at 15 degrees? Rolls at 800 a second, super rate. Let's see if we increase the rates. It's got a lot of expo, that's why it feels. It's got 0.8 expo. I generally fly with less. I'm gonna try to use my actual rates and see how it feels compared to the real one. One thing is, I wish there was a little bit of a slider for this, because having to click at each one individually is not fun. And I can't just type in the number, which is a little disappointing. So like for expo, I have to like click, 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 click. Still going, still going, still clicking, and clicking intensifies. It's not too bad though. Again, this is like pre-release, so we're gonna be doing at least a year of updates to this before they go full release. And it's also a 140-degree field of view. Most other sims like Liftoff, I think maxes out at 120. I will say, I feel like the lighting isn't quite there yet. It's like all this almost looks black. And with global illumination in games, generally it should illuminate the surface ever so slightly. And I feel like it's a little bit too shiny. Like, I understand a lot of this is supposed to be like wet, but the shininess is so intense that it just doesn't feel natural. Everything else looks really good. And again, these are like things that can be fixed, I think, fairly easily. Like, global illumination tends to be a fairly easy thing to implement. Like, this looks almost pitch black. Oh, wow! As I go into it, the camera changes. That's actually kind of realistic. The camera lighting changed on that. That's crazy. Liftoff doesn't offer anything like this. DRL does not offer anything like this. DCL does not offer anything like this. So it already has kind of a unique offering, in my opinion. And the fact that it 3Ds out of the gate, even though I can't go 0 tilt, again, something easy to fix. Like, they might even be able to fix that before it goes into release. I gotta say, changing the rates, like, this feels much more like my actual quad. Like, this feels natural. I need to play with the dead zone a little bit on the sticks. So it feels like even if I trim it out, it's not quite perfectly trimmed out. And then after I fly this for a few minutes, I'm going to give you guys my initial thoughts and impressions, and then we're going to do a little bit of an edit from flying the simulator.
A little later.
So, let me give you some of my final thoughts on this one. First and foremost, this is pretty amazing. I love the fact that it defaults to 3D mode. You can obviously turn 3D mode off. The setup and configuration is really simple. Again, you just have this one screen to choose from. They are going to be trying to launch it with a second environment. I'm sure they're going to be adding more environments as they go forward. But the fact is, no other simulator has an environment like that. You know, no one's trying to simulate water. They based it off of real location Brazil. All the textures from it are actually taken from picture reference from the location that the developer is familiar with, which is really cool. And they're trying to go for like a hyper realism. The quad feels good. It feels very much like my actual quad, just putting in my rates from Betaflight. The noise of the motors actually changes. The developer said as you pick a higher thrust to weight ratio, the machine actually changes the pitch of the props as it gets higher in throttle and lower in throttle. So there's like dynamic sound happening behind the scenes. Again, my only real complaint, you can't go to 0 degrees. That's a weird thing. That should be easy to fix. It needs a little bit of global illumination because there's a couple times where I'm flying and parts of it are really dark and hard to see. And on top of that, maybe a little less shininess on the rocks. And that's why I think it has like this hyper realism look to it, where if you change those things, it'll look more quote unquote realistic. But there's nothing else on the market like this sim. It's gonna be $10 on Steam. It's called Acro with a 0 at the end, like Acro. So I'm excited. If you want a key for this, leave a comment down below and let me know. And now, a mashup of my FPV footage versus Acro's simulator footage. And let me know what you think down in the comments. Till next time, guys, I've been ZTO the FPV. You guys have been awesome. Till next time. Bye!
snakke.